I was running behind. I had to, post a couple things in our group. If you guys are insiders, I just posted another parlay. It's a 6-legger. It's a 10-1. So like, if you have a couple bucks to sprinkle on it, you could sprinkle it. It's in our members only group. It's a 6-legger. We could go over it. I mean, you could go over it in the group now. You guys could chat about it. I posted it. I already have action on it. It's just basically all week we've been talking about certain fights, method of victories, stoppages, over and unders. So it's that one now. So we have in the group from the starting of the week, we had the Australian parlay that we hit. We also, I also just posted another parlay, the long parlays in there. So you guys got a lot of, 10-1. What's up, Big Shadow? 10-1, a couple bucks sprinkled. These are basically throughout the week, guys, as I'm doing my breakdown analysis and uploads, I'll show you. So this is my notes. This is my notes from my uploads, right? So I use this book as I'm doing film study, and when I'm doing my money line predictions for the channel, if something comes to mind like, oh, that fight, that's an interesting prop bet, I'll write it down. So this is the first week where I'm adding all of those prop bets together on a parlay, and that's what I just posted. Haven't been in a live since the Ryan Raleigh. Diego, welcome back. We've been doing lives every day. We do 2 lives every day. Diego, where you been at? Raleigh Ryan, that was a rough one for us. No, I'm only posting Boxing Insider content for the boys and girls who join that. I'm also still posting on the public side of things too. How do you tag names in the chat? Skeezy, Mar the Prince. We're going to cover UFC today, boys. So yeah, as you guys are tapping in, as you guys are checking in, it's going to be a busier one today. This is my second live stream of the day. I had to start the day earlier because my Friday morning and afternoons are busy. I have about an hour or so today on this live. We spoke about, we're going to get into some UFC parlays. We usually save this live stream for the MMA fans. Let's take the first 10 or so minutes to get your questions out about boxing, though, before we kind of dive into the MMA stuff. We'll keep the boxing first and then middle end for MMA. I just uploaded Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumbee. Now, that's an interesting fight to me. On the money line, there's not a lot of juice to squeeze. Pacheco is a big favorite on the money line. I think rightfully so. I just uploaded if you go to the playlist section on my channel, Fight Predictions, it's about 10-minute video. Shout out to Carlos. He's a level 2, a little bit extra member, and he featured that video. He wanted me to do it. So I'm high on Diego. Diego's 24 years old, 6'4", 78-inch reach. Now, this is a matchup at 168 pounds, guys, between two guys with 75% knockout to win ratio or higher. Now, in my opinion, in my breakdown, I feel at 24 years old, Pacheco already has on his resume a win over Manny Gallegos, and people are going to bash that win, but Gallegos stopped Khalil Ko, and going into the Ko rematch, a lot of people were up on Gallegos. And then obviously Ko looked amazing and Ko stopped Gallegos. He also has a stoppage win over Selecki. People will say Selecki, he's average, but he's coming off an impressive victory as well. And then we just saw him against an undefeated Steven Nelson. And people are going to say Steven Nelson was old. But you guys know how boxing fandom works. Some fans just don't want to give other fighters props. This isn't the channel for that. You guys know that by now. I'm high on Diego Pacheco. I think those are 3 great wins for a 24-year-old. I like how they've been moving Diego along. I'm all for it, especially at 168 pounds, especially with his physique as he matures into his man body. He still looks like a little kid. Look, he still hasn't even got to that peak physical maturation version of himself yet. So like Diego was saying, I agree with Diego. I think we're looking at a very disciplined, talented, skilled fighter. He's very coachable. I like what Benavidez has done with him. I'm high on him. Let's talk about McCumbee now. McCumbee, 32 years old. He seems a lot older to me. I thought McCumbee was in his mid to late 30s. Trevor's 32. He became kind of a household name in America due to a loss Take whatever you want from that. At the time, the loss to Plant was a good loss. He fought him like a dog. He grazed him early, clipped him early, dropped him in the 4th round, and then he went on to eventually get stopped. With McCumbie's style, obviously in my prediction, I'm taking Pacheco. Pacheco on the money line is one of my locks of the week. I posted that earlier in the week. I love if you could get knockdown props on this fight, I love an over and under on this fight. There's a fun little fight parlay to build on this fight. Diego may catch him when he jumps into the line. So what we're doing, let's focus on that. I'm going to go, if you guys have your betting apps, whatever your book is. In Australia, my betting app is Sportsbet. So the money line, Diego, $1.07, like we talked about. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. If you don't want to roll that over into a parlay, don't do it. Here's the decision you guys are going to have to make. I think there's going to be knockdowns. I like the knockdown market. Personally, I'm not getting an over-under market. They're just giving me to be knocked down. McCumbie at $1.25. To be knocked down and win. Total knockdowns. Here's the prop I really like. Total knockdowns. I like this is just I like a 2+. I think we're gonna see multiple knockdowns based on their style, based on how they fight, what we've seen in the past. And sometimes with a multiple knockdown prop bet, you're relying on the durability of each fighter. So that's what I like. I have Diego on the money line, and I like on a separate ticket, on a prop ticket, I like 2+. So over 1.5 knockdowns. The Usyk versus Dubois money line, I've taken Usyk. I got him at $1.34. He's currently at $1.27. Now, there's a couple prop bets on the Usyk Dubois fight card that I really like as well. We could talk about that. Like I said, if the current $1.27 on the money line doesn't do it for you, for Usyk, take a look at the props. Usyk by decision, $3. Usyk to win by stoppage, 2-1. I don't like that. Will the fight go the distance? That's not the one I like. Knockdown markets. Total knockdowns. $1.42. I really like that. You could fatten up a nice little method of victory parlay. I like that bet money. You throw over 0.5 knockdowns in Usyk versus Dubois. You mix that. I think that's another great value. I talked about this all week. The Usyk Dubois. Oh, I think somebody's definitely hitting the canvas. As soon as somebody hits the canvas, you win. I think that I'm not going to quickly call that a lock, but I love that. I already have money on that. And I do want to make one adjustment. Earlier in the week for UFC MMA fans, I want to do I have a retracted statement. It involves Michael Johnson. He's fighting Zellhuber. I said I was going to go heavy on the fight, not to go the distance. I was too impulsive on that fight. If you look at how Michael Johnson has fought in the last stage of his career, he actually wrestles a lot more. He actually fights a lot smarter, and he's winning more decisions. So when we get to that fight, I'm not 100% sold on that fight to end by stoppage, by the way. I said it earlier, and I kind of want to retract my statement on that. What's up, DJ? Yeah, I kind of was jumping the gun. I needed to watch the tape. I know both fighters, and I was remembering a couple fights ago, Michael Johnson made this pivotal sort of approach to his game because Johnson, pretty sure he was a collegiate wrestler. He could wrestle, but he loves to just stand and trade. What up, Johnny? Caught you guys in time. Flew to Pittsburgh, to Bay Area. What's up, Carlos? Appreciate you, man, in the airport. That's what time it is, dude. A couple other method of victories. Yeah. For sure. Skeezy, I have to do my due diligence. I can't, there's no way I'm going to sit here and not tell you guys because I knew that I sometimes could, I talked about this last week on my live stream. I don't do it on purpose, but I could be really convincing, and I'm not trying to change your mind on things. So if I think that I was being too convincing and I got it wrong, I'm going to tell you, that's not a lock. Michael Johnson versus Zellhuber is that I bet you Johnson's going to wrestle and grapple him. Because Zellhuber is a tall, long, dangerous striker. He's really fun. And we've seen Johnson use his grappling as of late. So there we go. I just wanted to clear the air. Sorenko and Valdez to win. I like Sorenko coaching. I have Sorenko on a money line. Let's take 5 to 10 more minutes on boxing, and we'll go to MMA for you. Because I know I promised you guys that. And the longer you're on my channel, you'll know that, no, DJ, that's because of you, bro. Shout out to DJ Green. DJ. It's because of you. You brought that up. So this is why I love the chat, dude. You boys hold me accountable and I listen. Yeah, you guys, it was DJ Green. He brought that up. And even when I left the chat, as I was editing Pacheco versus Macumbi, it was in the back of my head. Michael Johnson, Zellhuber. I was like, did I really say? Why do I think that fight might not get stopped? And then I was like, you know what? He was right. I don't think that fight gets stopped. Dwayne Styles in the sauna. Get that hypothermic conditioning on. Is Johnson to win a lock? I don't know, man. So Johnson, this is a classic Michael Johnson versus Zellhuber, old seasoned grizzled veteran versus a guy in Zellhuber that a lot of people are really high on. A lot of people still think that Zellhuber has what it takes to at least get to the top 10 in those rankings. He's really, people speak highly of Zellhuber. I want to talk about a couple added on boxing matches that they just added on in the last 24 hours that I've put on a sneaky parlay. Sorenko, money line. Daniel Lappin, money line. Gary Russell Jr., not a lot of juice. He's going to shine against Castaneda. You guys already know I like Picasso. I don't mess with Showbiz. Showbiz, if he got 10K to put on Duval, do it. You know what I mean? Do it. He's betting 10 to win 30. Good luck to him. Yeah, somebody asked me on my channel this week, why don't I ever show you the winnings and how much I bet? And to answer you guys, the reason why I block out how much money is because money's funny, and it's not about money. It should never be about money. The last thing I ever want to do is make somebody feel uncomfortable. The last thing I ever want to do is make somebody feel inadequate. I say that all the time. You see it, people who are in this day and age of social media, influencers, celebrities, whatever, rappers, fill in the gap. People will flex online, whether it's objects, houses, trips, bank accounts. They use that to make other people feel inadequate. That's not how I'm wired. So that's why the core of who I am as a person, even if it's somebody that I've never met, I only know through the chat, I feel you guys know me pretty well authentically. If you ever met me in person, this is who you get. And so that's me being 100 with you. So I actually was taken back when people were commenting last week, why don't you show me how much you're winning? And I was like, that's so bizarre that you're even complaining that I'm not showing you. It was bizarre. So I had to address that, and that's the reason. So to say that Showbiz is betting 10 grand, I mean, I think it says more about, what his intentions are. I don't know. That's just not how I roll, man. All right. We already talked about Picasso, moneyline, Magsayo. I think Magsayo is going to shine against Queller. I think that fight's going to be interesting. That should be a fun fight. A method of victory I really like, is Figueroa Gonzalez to go the distance. DJ. We speak. Yeah, exactly. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I love that pick. I love Figueroa and Gonzalez to go the distance. They gave Ammo a late second opponent. I'm not betting on. I wasn't betting on Ammo anyway. A lot of you guys are up on Fierro. I need some overs on Figueroa. Does it offer? Let me check, Goat. Overs on Fierro and Cruz. Let's see what we're looking at. So here, let's focus. Let's take a couple minutes to focus on Pitbull, Cruz versus Fierro. Right now on the money line, Pitbull is $1.19. These are Australian values. 100 on Pitbulls gets you 19 bucks back. The draw is 16-1. Fierro's a little bit over a 4-1 dog. Now I think that fight, Cruz and Fierro, is going the distance. So if I'm betting on this fight, will the fight go the distance? It's $1.52. For me personally, I think that's a lot of that's enough value for me not to get too fancy to just put on a ticket. $1.52. If you guys know some of the big boys who bet a lot, there's guys out there who are going to put 10 grand on this fight to win 5,000. That's a great example of, if you want to, big bettors will go, yeah, big bettors will put 10 grand on this fight to go the distance and make 5,000 on it, which I think if you have that bankroll, I think that's a smart bet. There's so much value in that bet, just specifically on you only need one outcome. And the odds, I think, based on their styles, we saw this fight play out before. I really, the bankroll aside, I love this bet. Whether you have $10 to win $5, whether you have $100 to win $50, whether you have 10 grand to win 5 grand, I really like this bet. Pitbull versus Fierro to go the distance. I like that one. To answer Goat, am I getting an over-under on it? Round betting markets, Goat. Here's what I'm getting. No, they're not giving me over. They're only giving me margins. They're only giving me margins. I don't even know if do we see a knockdown? Yeah, I'm not high on Pitbull, and I don't mean to offend any Pitbull fans here, but I mean, as the channel grows, I think a lot of you guys understand Fierro has been down, but he's gone back up. I think because Pitbull's one of those really popular fighters who's broken through the mainstream, who has fans. It's like fanboys or whatever you want to call it. But when I watch Pitbull fight, I agree. He has a lot of holes. He's just entertaining. Very one-dimensional. You think he might get knocked out. I mean, hand history vault. For you to just... I respect your comment, but that's the type of comment, it almost sounds like you threw that in there to present doubt in my reasoning. Give me your reasoning why you think one of those would get knocked out, just so I know you're not playing the contrarian. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not debating. You don't have half the screen, and I kind of wish you would, because I would like to debate you on this. Because everything that I just said, why I really love that fight to go the distance, it's really easy for you to just type, I don't think it will, and then kind of be like the cool guy in the room. I want to you prove, why do you think it gets stopped? Because being the contrarian is easy to do without reason. And some people will just say the opposite to go against the grain with no reason, just because it's the personality. Yeah, it's going to be a brawl. There you go. 100%, mate. Total knockdowns. All right, Goat. So history, do you think... Would you wager heavy on that? If you're still on the live, I got that over. I got over unders on knockdowns, but I'm not getting over unders on rounds. Hold on, I do. Goat, I do have over under in rounds, but I think it's going to go the distance. I mean, under 11. Guys, under 11, all right, History Vault, if you think the fight gets stopped, Goat, if you think the fight gets stopped, under 11.5 is $2.40. Will the fight go the distance? $2.45. So you might as well just do that. Over 7.5 rounds out of 8. Over 7.5. Over 7.5 is $1.14. That's a great question. So over 7.5 is $1.14. I don't like. Is that enough juice for you? Are you thinking about just adding that on a parlay? And over 8.5 is $1.22. I think Pacheco, Boxy fan, appreciate you. I do think Pacheco. I think he stops some guys. Pitbull. Okay, there you go. History. Appreciate you, History, on responding. So History Vault's response: Pitbull likes to come forward and try to get the knockout. He can walk into punches. Cruz is very aggressive against bigger opponents. Cruz will swing for the fences. Yeah, but History, we've seen this matchup before. That's what I'd be more interested in. Okay, I understand where your head's at now, Goat. They're Mexican. It's not getting stopped. Skeezy, right on track with you. I'm feeling what Skeezy just said. Okay, I mean, History presents good points. I'm really comfortable with that. I call it a lock. It's one of my lock. Like, we know there's no such thing in locks, but I have to stand on something. You know, I just can't stand on the midline. Nothing's worse than when you're waiting for somebody to give you a take and then they stand on the fence. Like, I even give you outcomes when my buddies fight. Like, when Dana Colwell fought, I didn't want to give an outcome, but I did. When he fought Chop Chop. So, a bet I really, like I said, I'm going to move forward because I think we've kind of smashed the Pitbull Fierro. Where I'm going with my bet is the fight to go the distance. I love that bet. And let's move on. Will the fight go the distance? $1.52. I'm loving it. Bam, 2+ knockdowns. Money Meech. Did you talk to Money? Did you talk to Muscles or something? Because I called Meech. Because I called Muscles and we talked about that like 20 minutes ago. Bam versus Cafu. I like Sorenko money line. I did. I watched Sorenko's last fight, and I'm not high on Dackers. That's on the card in the UK. I like Sorenko. I think that's good value. Right now, I have Sorenko at $1.22. But the prop bet, Bam Rodriguez versus Cafu, Pumalele, that's a fun one. That's a fun one to swing. I literally was on the phone with Muscles before the live stream talking to him about it. Okay, you're hunting props, so we have the good eye. Yeah, same. Right? This is the time of the week, guys, going into the weekend. Like I said, we're like anthropologists. We're like, trying to, or even, if we're digging, we're like archaeologists trying to dig our way into finding a fossil, something that pops, something that could sell. And like I said, so I'm moving. I posted, by the way, guys, if you're an insider, you could see it on our page. I posted just recently these props I'm going over. I just put it all on one. Cruz by knockout is actually so. Yeah, I don't think Pitbull. Dude, Fierro's tough as nails, boys. I don't think Gizak stops Fierro. I like a knockdown prop in a Coley. Yeah, okay. Horace brings up a good point. Let's talk to Horace. Horace Hurricane Houston. What a name. I love it. Cafu looked bigger at the face-off. Dude pretty skilled from what I've been seeing. Short range gives me doubts. Bam, solid too. Okay, so he is. Horace, you're not lying about that. My thing with, yeah, good Pitbull. That's right. My thing with Cafu is he is solid. He's going to have an inch reach. He's going to have, on paper, an inch taller. I think Bam actually might have the longer reach. You have to see who he's been fighting. I mean, he went into Japan, was an underdog, I think, against Tanaka, and, fought really well. I'm just really high on Bam. I think after this fight, we're going to say the common thing we say, there's levels. I love Bam's body work. Cafu's style, when he gets going, he could fight really brave. He'll punch with you as well. I think that's where we're going to see the speed, the levels of speed, the levels of angles, the sharpness. It's not like Bam does one thing really well at a high level. I think Bam stops Cafu. I think he's going to invest. Like, what does Bam Rodriguez always do, guys? Like, from a game plan perspective, when he goes to execute his game plan, he's always hunting the body. He's always investing the body early. And he also fights. What I really like about him is he fights you at your own pace early, Watch his last few fights. You don't even have to go too far back. Watch his last fight, the fight before that. He lulls his opponent into, I don't want to say a false sense of believing that they're in the fight, but some fighters have the ability to do this. And he'll kind of match and mirror his opponent's tempo and pace the first few rounds. And then he has just this gear that he's able, it's almost like an old school radio station when you're seeking to change the radio I'm old, on our car stereo, you would change the dial. He has this dial change about him, and you could see it. Once he puts you on the ropes, he'll start with you in the middle. Yeah, I'm high. I'm high on Bam on the money line. And I'm high on a knockdown prop bet. So I already have action on those, on separate tickets that I've shared in our group. I like the Kevin Lerena versus Lawrence Oakley fight. There's a knockdown prop that I love. Rather than taking either guy to win, whenever, like, I didn't like the way Oakley looked like against Chris Billum-Smith. We've seen Lerena go the distance before with, was it Justice Huni? Nah, he's not juiced. I totally disagree. That's such a reckless thing, Rambler, to say, to kind of try to disregard a young 25-year-old kid's career and legacy, is just to come on a live stream and say that y'all do realize that he's juiced. That's insane, dude. That's an insane thing to say out loud, but you have your own perspective. All right, let's get into some UFC. Guys, we're going to turn gear. We're going to get to the UFC. There's some big fights. The biggest question in my eyes is who's going to pay for this UFC card? What's up, Laga? All right, so let's go through these fights. Some fights that I really like. If you type on Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Peracnio, will the fight go the distance? Jimmy Crute, Marcin Peracnio. Will the fight go the distance? Hell no. Exactly. So I love Peracnio and Crute not to go the distance. That's $1.45. That's going on our parlay right now. We're going to build this together. Adam Fugit versus Dulatov. Now, Adam Fugit fought a buddy of mine in which he was the underdog. He beat my buddy Solomon Renfro in a Contender Series fight, which I was super salty about. And Fugit is a tall, rangy striker who lives by the sword, dies by the sword. Will this fight go the distance? Hell no. Someone's getting stopped. It's only $1.13. I'm taking the $1.13 on the parlay. Right now we're at $1.63. 100 gets you 63 back at the moment. I'm staying away from Robert Valentin. Robert Valentin was on The Ultimate Fighter. He's kind of a big personality guy, trains out of Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, fighting Gautier. I'm not touching that fight. Martin Vettori, Brendan Allen. I mean, that has decision written all over it, doesn't it? That has going the distance. Brendan Allen, man, he makes you scratch your head when you look at his performances. Martin Vettori is tough as nails. You got to hit that kid with a baseball bat to get him out of there. Will the fight go the distance? Yes. I think that's a lock. I think Vettori versus Brendan, unless Brendan Allen turns the clock and gets a sneaky submission, I don't think he stops Vettori. I'm throwing will the fight go the distance? Yes, on a parlay. We're at $2.24 now. Now we're in double our money territory. Damn, there's some good matchups on here. I love watching Kyler Phillips fight. There was a time where I'm still high on Kyler Phillips. He's super athletic. He's fighting Oliveira. Vinicius is tough. I'm staying away from that fight. I'm not going to bet on that fight. Michael Johnson, Zellhuber. Is the $1.17 enough for me to throw in a parlay to say that he convincingly beats Johnson? I don't know, mate. Michael Johnson, he's known as obviously to stop people. He's super exciting. They call him the Menace. He's been stopped in his career, but as of late, this guy wrestled in college. Michael Johnson loves to stand and trade. You know, I'm personally friends with his strength coach, Dr. Corey Peacock. He's been this stage of his career, he's been wrestling more. I mean, who was it? He beat Mark Jacasey by out grappling him, out wrestling him. Mark Jacasey, you know, at one time was a really hot prospect coming out of the UK. Didn't really pan out. Jacasey's super talented. To say that Zell Huber's just going to go and wash Michael Johnson, I don't know. I'm probably going to stay away from that fight. I initially was sold on Johnson, that fight not going the distance, but I could see that fight. Yeah, I'm going to avoid that. Dan Ige versus Pitbull. God damn, I'm tempted to take Pitbull because he looks so flat in his debut. And I know, dude, is this Tricky or Patricio? Is this Tricky's brother? Am I tripping? Because I know what we get with 50K Ige. You know what you're going to get with Ige. The kid is tough as nails. He throws absolute bombs. But if this is Tricky, give me a second. Yeah, guys, don't sleep. I mean, he lost to Yair Rodriguez 2 months ago. Dude, Patricio Pitbull is a savage. He has lost lately a lot. Yeah. I'm tempted. I'm going Ige. I'm going Ige money line against Pitbull. Shit, he might even stop Pitbull. Because Pitbull's one of these guys, he came too late. He should have left Bellator maybe 8 years ago. Crew fight not to... Yeah. Come on, it's Jimmy Crew, baby. That fight's not going the distance. All right, so we have... Right now, we're up to 4. To recap on this parlay we're building, that I'm gonna bet on it right live, and then we're going. I'm gonna post it. So Jimmy Crute fight to not go the distance at $1.45. The Adam Fugit fight to not go the distance at $1.13. Vittori and Brendan Allen to go the distance, $1.37. Ige on the money line at $1.48. We're at $3.54 right now. Shit, I hit a 6-legger in UFC last week, and I hit a 5-legger the week before. Let's go. Dude, I'm tempted to put D-Rod to upset Holland, too. I mean, Holland, you know, he's made for highlights. He just doesn't, and D-Rod is one-dimensional. You know, he just wants to stand and trade. We saw Holland fight, you know, Wonder Boy in Wonder Boy's wheelhouse, and he thought he was going to be able to defeat the greatest MMA striker in terms of, you know, efficiency and technicality that the UFC has ever seen, and Wonder Boy pieced him up. So Kevin Holland is a black belt under what's his name? He fought Anderson Silva. God damn it, man! My memory used to be on point, but switching from boxing to MMA sometimes in one stream is tougher than you think. Anyway. Kevin Holland has a legit-ass black belt. He's a legit-ass grappler. He got his black belt from a guy who fought for the world title. You know, really legit black belt. No, it wasn't Prado. It wasn't Prado. I hate using the internet. I hate using the internet to look shit up. Travis Lutter. He got his black belt from Travis Lutter, dude. To have a Travis Lutter black belt in this day and age of MMA is, you know, up there with anybody else in the game. Oh, I'm telling you, Prado going to win. Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about Prado as a coach. Who's Prado fighting? I'm not betting on that fight. I'm not betting on Prado. Dude, Nikolai Varentonikov. I'm not betting on that fight. Anything could happen. I think Costa beats Kopylov, though. I do like Costa. I'm getting 286 on Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Kopylov is a guy, we watched Kopylov's entire career, man. He's a good striker. I think he's either Ukraine or Russia. He has that curly hair fro, long, wants to strike. We've seen him gas before. We've seen him fade before. Korean Superboy. Superboy, he fought, I think Superboy fought 2 months ago and he won. I like Costa at 286. I'm adding Costa, and I like Holloway on the money line. Boom, let's eat. 16-1 odds. 16-1 odds, boys. Let's eat. All right, here's what we got. Jimmy Crute, fight to go the distance, no. Fugit, fight to go the distance, no. Vittori Allen, fight to go the distance, yes. Dan Ige money line. Paulo Costa money line. Maxi Boy money line. I'm gonna when I make that official, I'll do it right now. I'll share it with you boys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so that's 16-1. 100 gets you 100 on that, boy. Deposit. 266. Fight to go the distance. I could see it. I like Ige money line. I do. And I know I'm probably gonna end up regretting putting Costa on this ticket. Historically, he's burned me before on parlays, Paulo Costa. But Kopylov always gets hurt and damaged, and he always just ends up winning. And every time I watch Kopylov, I'm like, sooner or later, that style, somebody's going to make him pay for it. You can't get away with how he fights in the UFC every single fight. And he'll run out of gas, and then he'll try to clinch. He's very dangerous early, but I think Costa could mix it up. I think Costa, the kid has fought people. It wasn't that long ago thinking that this kid was going to be the future of the UFC. Mini Vitor Belfort. All right, I got action. I'll post that in the group. What's up, Pudgems Hayden? All right, boys. We are going on 40 minutes on the live. We've covered, we just created our UFC parlay. We covered boxing. I'm going to leave it open. Stage is open. Any questions, any specific to the chat that you guys maybe we didn't cover on a matchup, a method of victory? Costa has no wins over current. I know. It's going to come back burning me. I called it here, but I couldn't say no to that. Loca, let's hear it. Holloway Poirier to go the distance. Kopylov decision. Oliveira, 148. Vittori Allen. I love that Ige Pitbull goes the distance. Ooh. Loca, I like your picks. We disagree on, I think, one of them, but the one I actually am probably worried about is the Ige Pitbull fight to go the distance. Just all things considered. Costa said he's going to be on the offense the whole time. He's not letting the other guy. We'll see if he does that. DJ, Sorenko by stoppage, by knockout. I try not to go non-world level guys picking method of victories. I already have Sorenko on a parlay. I got Sorenko on a parlay. I'm not going to bet any more money on Sorenko. Can he get the stoppage? He can win by knockout. He could crack. Gary Russell Jr., this is a return fight for him. Gary Russell Jr., if he's the Gary Russell Jr. that I remember, world-class hand speed. This is what we call a get-back fight. DJ, I took fight not to go the distance. You think Costa's going to get pieced up? Costa got better boxing than you think. He's obviously durable. We know Kopylov is a hell of a striker. I don't like Costa. Kopylov takes a lot of damage, man. I got an Oakley knockdown prop in that. Johnny, do you have a Zellhuber on a parlay? I have, no, I stayed away from the Zellhuber Michael Johnson fight. No, he was. Dacker's the upset. Salkinov, really? I don't see it, mate. You're confident in that. Daggers. Wow, we'll see. I think he's probably gonna get stopped. Nick Clark, are you friends with him? Now, I'm not tossing shade. I've watched tape on both guys. I think that Dackers is in there too, gets stopped. Kopylov, I think Kopylov is pretty close to one-dimensional. I know, Julius. So that's why I'm like, whoever's backing, he might be friends with him, dude. I gotta ask these things. Guys, we have professional gamblers on the stream. We have fighters on the stream, coaches. If I'm friends with fighters, if I grew up with guys and know fighters, well, I have to ask. Some people are loyal. Maybe he's a training partner. But when I watched the tape, a boxing match, Zach and Huber. I thought you meant Zoe Huber versus Johnson. No, I don't know that fight. I'm not betting on it. I'm not getting options. Nick Clark, not friends with 50 bucks is all I have to say. Okay. All right. Yeah. 50, you'll turn that into 200, I think, right? Well, he could pressure him. And Costa could grapple, too. There you go, Nick. I understand your reasoning. It's good. It could happen. Costa could crack. He could grapple. He's durable. Kopylov could crack. I'm not going to sit with that bet. I'm not going to sit with that matchup too much. I don't have too much invested in it. But for the money, I think it's hard to not take Costa for the money. That's all I'm saying. Is Reese Bellotti fight? I don't think Reese is fighting this week. Rudy, what do you think of this parlay? Holloway over 4.5. Zoo. If you're taking Holloway over 4.5, why don't you just take the fight to go the distance? Zoo Fandora over 10.5. Ooh. Pacquiao over. That's probably paying really good. They're really risky on all of those overs. Yeah, the PBC card's insane. Yeah, history. I cover Bellotti. Okay, I was gonna be shocked because somebody thought Xander was fighting this weekend, and I had to say the same thing. I think they were looking at the betting app. What's up, Wonka? When did you lose money? Holloway might knock him out last second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, boys, it's going to come down to a lot of you are asking, I don't want to call them obscure questions of outcome, but we do know when we start getting kind of fancy on our predictions of outcome, there's nobody living on this earth who can get that all right all the time. So, for instance, the Zoo versus Fandora fight, I mean, I have a knockdown prop in that fight, to believe it or not. But I have Zoo on the money line on a separate ticket as well. It was really tough for me not to pick Seb. It was. John Pablo, I think the safe bet in the crude fight is to pick the fight, not to go the distance. Inside the distance, Marcus. Yeah. If Holland is smart, he shouldn't. He should fight a specific way. He shouldn't stand there. He definitely shouldn't fight how he fought against Wonderboy. No, Skeezy. Olaha pulled out, Skeezy. Austin Williams has a new opponent. Ed Tenosa Olaha pulled out 2 days ago. They gave Ammo a new opponent. Knockdown prop. Yeah, well, something has to happen, Gene Pablo. You're not greedy. I wouldn't call you greedy, John Pablo. I would call you a dreamer. You are an optimist, and these are the people I like hanging out with. No one likes to hang around a pessimist. We want to be around people who believe in miracles. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking of going heavy on Usyk, Rod. I have Rudy Melendez. I was thinking of going heavy on Usyk, Rodriguez, but I did. So I did that exact bet on Monday. I posted it. I went as heavy as I go. And we'll just leave it at that. Those are my locks. Those are my locks. All the years of experience I learned in I know. Laka, I agree with you, brother. I don't mess on Kevin either. He's fun to watch though. 10K on Dubois. Crazy work. PJ. Yeah, who's your pick? I will. All right, the boys are running in. All right, I want to give some thought to Holloway versus Poirier. Holloway versus Poirier, we've seen it before. I mean, the UFC's marketing is, let's just start with the marketing. Holloway got starched against Ilya. Holloway's not the baddest motherfucker on the planet. To even market it as the BMF champ, the BMF belt, what are you talking about, dude? Ilya Topuria is that guy, okay? I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. I've been watching Max since his very first fight in the UFC. Max fought a buddy of mine in the UFC. We watched Max grow up. I remember when Michael Bisping tried getting Max pulled out of a fight during fight week in Vegas because remember that weird narrative they were trying to say Max Holloway had CTE because during a weight cut he was doing his media obligations in Vegas. This would have been like 8 years ago. And he was stuttering and mumbling. My point is, in this matchup versus Dustin doesn't manage range and distance well. Dustin he's kind of one-dimensional. He uses his toughness and grittiness. I just think the volume Max is going to put on him, the precision, the accuracy. Hopefully Max isn't shot. You know, he was tough and durable until he wasn't. Ilya was the first person in this long-ass career to stop him. I put Max above Dustin. I just think he's a level above on a lot of things. The physical side of things, the skill side of things. I think Max has multiple methods of victory, multiple paths. I'm not high on Dustin Poirier. I'm not a fan. He has heavy hands. He could crack. I don't like the way he goes about his business. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan. But I think Holloway beats him. Does he stop him? I'm not sure. I think the money's good enough to take Max on the money line. Yeah, I think it's Max's time. I think Max beats him. Let's see what those. You got to realize too, Max. They both started at 45. To answer your question about Conor, I was a fan of Conor up until he fought Floyd. There's two Conor McGregors. There's Conor McGregor before he fought Floyd, and there's Conor McGregor after he fought Floyd. I was a fan before he fought Floyd. Especially, come on, mate. That knockout of Josie Aldo, when he stopped Marcus Brimage. Marcus Brimage was the guy. People don't realize this. Conor McGregor fought and got the blackout treatment when he wasn't even the main event. People knew. I watched Conor McGregor in Cage Warriors. I knew Conor was going to be the dude. His striking, his countering, his fight IQ, everything he did in the octagon. Disregard how, the predictions and Mystic Mac and all that good stuff. But that knockout at Aldo was spectacular. When he stopped Chad Mendes, when he was overcoming, Chad Mendes made him answer a few things, even though Chad took that fight on short notice. How he came back and rallied to stop Mendes. That was amazing. But Marcus Brimage as well. That was a 50-50 fight going into that fight. Brimage was the hot prospect. Brimage was the guy, doing the weigh-in stuff. He had I don't know if you remember him. He wore the sunglasses with the thing. And then Brimage, he got it. Once he got stopped against Conor, he was never the same guy. Fighters like Conor, when they're on their streak, they do that to guys. Look at how many fighters who went into a young Mike Tyson's career and never fought after. Tyson had that thing about him. You think you're that dude until you actually meet that dude and you get starched by that dude and you're never able to recover psychologically. Conor had that about him. Yeah, I did too, Mike. But you weren't the only one. I mean, I don't know. It was a 50-50 fight. I don't remember if I was picking Marcus to win, but Marcus, all around good martial artist, had hands, a bit shorter. And, looking back, he was a shorter guy with a shorter reach. Conor fighting at 45 with that length, that southpaw striking style, his footwork, his explosivity. Mate, he was a joy to watch. But then again, like I always say, it was win, he left and went to fight Floyd, he was never the same guy. Yeah, his early wins. I mean, watch Conor versus Max. Conor versus Max was a insane fight. Yeah, Conor's timing on his counter boxing, his counter punching, absolutely world class. Absolutely, that just the timing and his mind, like how he would see the fight play out and he would execute the game plan, unbelievable. Even replay the Conor McGregor versus Khabib. Watching Conor go and win round 3. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov round 3 was insane because it was round 4, if my memory serves me correctly, where Conor got stopped. But round 3, mate, he gave Khabib all he wanted. He went out there and won. I'm pretty sure it was round 3. He got stopped in round 4, wins round 3, stunned Nurmagomedov, and then, you know, whenever you're dealing with a guy like Khabib who's so aggressively one-dimensional with his grappling, Conor wasn't able to really, you know, be balanced in his footwork. He had to worry about defending the double leg and the single leg. So that's when Khabib caught him with the overhand and kind of rattled him a bit. Swindle, it's linked in the comments. Swindle, it's linked in the comments. The Nate Diaz trilogy. The Dennis Seaver knockout. Oh, the Diego Brandao knockout was insane, dude. Diego Brandao went into that was the fight night in Ireland. Diego Brandao versus Conor in Ireland. That was the famous when Dan Hardy went into the octagon to interview him, and on that undercard of the Diego Brandao main event, his whole gym at Straight Blast SBG Straight Blast Gym. Paddy the Hooligan Houlihan was on that card. Cathal Pedred was on that card. You had a couple other guys. Neil Seary was on that card. And Conor grabs the microphone. He's like, it's a clean sweep by the Irish. He was like, Cathal Pedred, you can't beat that guy. Paddy the Hooligan Houlihan, rear naked choke. He was like, we didn't come to take part. We came to take over. And that was like, holy shit. Ireland just erupted. And then they took over Vegas. And that was when that whole Irish Vegas invasion moving forward. Mate, god damn, that was insane. I got goosebumps talking about it. I thought he was a bad dude. Diego Brandao was that dude. Lappin and Pacheco. I can't wait to see both fights, boys. Pacheco is going to eat. Approaching an hour, guys. If you haven't already liked this stream, if you haven't joined the Boxing Insider group, the link is on my channel, but it's also in the comments. Did some neck exercises. My double chin looks... double chin. Eister. Neck exercises. If you're worried about double chin or anything aesthetically, this is a point. There's no such thing as isolation. Like if you have... a part of your body that you want to focus and target from a scientific perspective, that really isn't a thing. What you want to do is worry about body composition. So obviously your body mass, muscle per body fat sort of thing. And, calories in, calories out, macronutrients, focus on real foods, that sort of thing. And over time, and engage in a proper strength routine. So power, functional strength training, exercises that forces the body to move on 3 planes, the squat, the press, the dead, etc. There's 5 major functional movements. And those movement patterns are based around primal movements, how we move, being bipedalists. And that's my wheelhouse as well. We got a new member. Clap it up. Guys, I got a lot of DMs in my Instagram from you boys I have to get to. I have a lot of emails. Kane, if you're on this live stream, Kane, I got to get back to your email. I have to look at your strength program. You messaged me. I've been busy, guys. The channel's growing. My business is my business, in person. I'm working on a 3rd book. I have about 10,000 words on that 3rd book. It's all about boxing. It's all about interviews. I'm excited. Guys, tomorrow morning I'm interviewing... Do you guys know who Anthony Mundine is? Anthony Mundine was a double sport superstar in Australia. He left the NRL when he was at his peak. I think he was the most high-paid player at the time. And then he went to box. This guy became a world champion. I think it's super middleweight. He's one of the only fighters you'll ever see in a career who won belts descending. Nobody ever talks about this. I talk about it. Well, tomorrow I'm interviewing his father, Tony Mundine. Let me drop some facts for you real quick. If you were unaware, in Australia in the 1970s, there was a young Aboriginal kid in Australia who was jumping on airplanes, flying to Paris, flying to Argentina, flying to America, boxing the best in the world. He fought Benny Briscoe. He fought Carlos Monzon. He fought Emil Griffith. This is Tony Mundine. So I'm interviewing him tomorrow to help tell his story. There's an old coffee shop in King's Cross owned by an old Italian boxer. I think it's Carlos Antonucci or something, or Luigi Antonucci's. And I'm going there to interview him. I saw him at the fights Wednesday night. I was like, I want to tell your story. Guys, in the 1970s in Australia, it was so politically and socially, I don't even know the proper adjective to put here. Aboriginal Australians in the 70s weren't even classified as humans in Australia in the 70s. Which, on the census, they do census of population. They didn't even consider Aboriginals as humans in the 70s in Australia. So my question is, how the hell does a young kid from an Aboriginal community fight Carlos Monzon, dude? Carlos Monzon's one of the greatest boxers of all time. He had a 30-foot bronze statue of him while he was alive, Monzon. Monzon would travel around on a private jet going to Paris Fashion Week in the 1970s, and you get this young Aboriginal boxer, Tony Mundine, fighting him for world titles. Didn't win, but, so, and then my next question is, who were the boxing coaches teaching boxing in the 70s? Because Mundine, his son Anthony, and now his grandson is a fighter. So yeah, I'm doing that tomorrow. It's super exciting. This is what I'm really passionate about. I love talking to people. I love learning new things, and I love telling stories. So guys, stay tuned to the channel. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I appreciate all the support. I got to go eat now. I got to train. I uploaded, the newest upload is on the channel. It was a Boxing Insider member who requested it. It's a level 2 membership. Diego Pacheco versus Macumbi. I'm going live tomorrow morning. I appreciate